What's up, peeps? I'm the Martian Gamer, and today we are showing off the Naramon focus, its usage, and then its ability tree. So, if you haven't seen focuses at all being used yet, essentially it lets you project your operator body outside of your Warframe. Oh, this is a glitch. I am definitely glitched out right now. Great. Alright, what's up, people? And we're back again. Sorry for that little mishap. It is Warframe after all. So, if you haven't seen a focus ability being used at all yet, then essentially you use your void energy to project your operator's body outside of your Warframe. Your Warframe collapses, and this is the Naramon focus ability. It basically does an AoE of confusion procs, and it's kind of difficult to see because I already have Nyx's Chaos on, but I have confirmed that when Chaos is not active, the enemies still do attack each other. So it's essentially just like Chaos, except by comparison complete garbage, because the cooldowns of focus abilities are absurd unless you get those abilities. Really though, it's the passives that's where it's at anyway, so don't even worry about using the abilities. I mean, it's very cool and I think you should, but I think it depends on how different they make the passive percentages versus the active augments, per se. So nonetheless, let's go to the augments. Alright, so let's take a look at the Naramon Augment Tree. And I was pronouncing it wrong earlier, it is Naramon, not Naramon. Although I have called it the Narimon before, so that's very off. But yeah, here we go. The Naramon focus tree is largely oriented around redirection, stealth, and critical, essentially. The first ability, Mind Spike, unleashes an AoE burst of confusion on the enemies that makes them attack each other. Pretty straightforward. And if you're not aware of the focuses or you haven't completed the second dream, which really you shouldn't be watching videos like these because all the spoilers, but you probably already spoiled everything for yourself already. Then other focuses have abilities like the Crystal one, Zeneric or Zenerike or Zenerikai, something like that, has an ability which lifts enemies off the air, pacifying them, and it seems like a combination of Vauban's Bastille and Equinox's Sleep, sort of. And Madurai, for instance, has a beam of energy that just deals high damage, and you can upgrade it to be 3 beams and such. But yeah, also, once you've unlocked something, you can activate it or not just by clicking, toggling it to the red for active and the black for inactive. Also, as you can see, the more you have active, the longer the duration, except for this one, because that reduces the duration. So, starting with the passives, because this is really where it's at, Strategic Execution just gives more affinity for melee kills. That's really good though for focus farming. Shadow Step then is even more excellent. I intend to get this next since it's half the price of the next one. It grants invisibility when inflicting critical damage with a melee weapon. So for me as a Prisma Dual Cleaver main user, that is just everything I want in life and more. Especially with squishy frames. Then even more so, these all amount to just greatness for Berserker builds essentially. Deadly Intent gives you increased critical chance with your melee weapon. So, boom. Berserker builds, here we come. Next, down here on the active branches, all the ones that are circle shaped are active, all the ones that are hexagon shaped are passive. We have Tactical Strike, which grants allies an increased critical chance with their melee weapon, and that is when you use the ability for a short duration of time. Then Reveal Weakness opens up finishers on enemies when you use it. Cloaking Aura grants allies invisibility for a short period of time, which seems pretty good. And then, if you want to be Loki, you can use Sundering Blast to disarm the enemies. Some of these seem kind of counterintuitive because, like, if you open up finishers, unless you're at really high level, they'll probably be dead, and then they don't need to be disarmed. And likewise, if they're disarmed, you don't need them to be finished so quickly or something to that effect. So you might want to choose. I mean, you might want to have both of those. That's totally cool, but you might want to kind of balance. Their effectiveness might be lessened individually if you have them together. Next, of course, Mind Spike Mastery just reduces the cooldown. All of them have one of these, I believe. And then Mind Blast, which decreases the range of the AoE but increases its size. I don't really know what it means by size. I can only assume it means effectiveness. Distance traveled by Mind Spike. See, this in this branch, the phrasing gets a little bit awkward. So it's possible that this means, for instance, the distance that an enemy can travel before Mind Spike wears off. Like maybe that is how they calculate its duration by distance, which would be kind of awkward. And then it actually increases the size of its AoE. I don't know. I'm just showing these to you guys, so speculation. Although the data will probably be up on the wiki very soon, if not now, at which point I'll put annotations in the video explaining it. And then this one, which is really weird, really awkward phrasing. I can't tell if it's a toggle or a consumable, but Mind Spike, and this is active, so this would refer to using Mind Spike, grants 3 charges of trauma. Melee attacks consume a charge of trauma to inflict critical damage, and a player's health will drain while they have trauma charges active. So the draining health makes me feel like it's a toggle ability, but the consuming of a charge makes me feel like it's a consumability. So, I really do not know what to talk about with this. But yeah, here is the general tree for Naramon focus. So thanks everybody for watching. If you liked the video, then drop a like. That'd be very much appreciated. And if you got something to say or ask, or you just want to comment on how awesome the new update is, then leave a comment. Totally want to hear what you have to say. Also, if you want to see more content from me, then subscribe because I intend to do more in the future. Once again, thanks for watching and have fun. Also, one last thing, don't be a jerk about it, but when on Draco farming for focus, do try and hunt down those Exami because they do give 4 times the amount of affinity as their equal leveled counterparts.